Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our regular meeting for the Board of Commissioners. And it's a great day. How about those canes? They pulled it through. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And first on the agenda, we will have invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have invocation by Commissioner Brian Haynes and Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Charlie Adcock. Let us please stand.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts. Thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed upon our town, our citizens, our staff, and all those who work each day to make our community a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Lord, we ask you for your wisdom as we gather to conduct the business of this town. Help us to approach each decision, discussion, and every vote with integrity, humility, and a genuine desire to serve the people who have entrusted us with this responsibility. Grant us the ability to listen to with open hearts and open minds, speak with respect, and disregard and disagree with grace when differences arise. Remind us that while we may come from different backgrounds and perspectives, we share a common goal of improving the quality of their life for all who are called this community home. Bless our first responders, our town employees, our business owners, our faith communities, and many volunteers who help strengthen the fabric of our town. Continue to protect and guide us, them in their service. Lord, guide our decisions so they may not only address the needs of today, but also build a strong foundation for generations to come. Give us courage to do what is right, the wisdom to discern the best path forward, and the humility to recognize that all good things come from you. May our actions bring honor to you and benefit to the citizens we serve. In your name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Let us do the pledge.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow. Thank
I'm not sure if I was leading that or the kids.
you. Charlie, I think you will follow him.
Yeah, I was kind of enjoying listening to them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. At this time, I will ask Town Manager Adam Mitchell to review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this meeting.
Thank you,
Town
Mayor.
Manager
Good evening.
Mitchell.
Good evening, Board. It's good to be with you tonight. Tonight's Town Board meeting will be held both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting includes a public comment period and 2 scheduled public hearings tabled from a previous meeting. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Harris will call on those wishing to address the Town Board. All attendees who appear in person to address the Town Board during the public comment period should provide their name and address on the green registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. All attendees who appear in person to address the Town Board during a scheduled public hearing should provide their name and address on the white registration sheet by the podium. We ask all those wishing to address the Town Board either during the public comment period or a scheduled public hearing to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all who wish to speak can be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those who may have different views on matters addressed by the Town Board, we ask that all in attendance respect the decorum of the meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support or displeasure for comments made during the public comment period or public hearings. Police Chief Smith will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is the discretion of the mayor as presiding officer to continue the public comment and or public hearing periods if the meeting protocol is not followed. And this concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Item 3A, we will have the approval of the minutes, the June 1st, 2026 Town Board of Commissioner regular scheduled meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 2026 Town Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and second that the minutes be approved. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes. Now we're on to item 4A, presentations. Our first presentation is a 2025 Fuquay-Varina Arts Center Dance Team. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Art Center Director Daly. Good evening.
Good evening,
How you
Mayor,
doing?
Commissioners. I'm well. How are you?
Doing well.
Excellent.
Yes.
Good evening, managers. I have to admit that coming to you on an annual basis on a night like tonight is probably one of my favorite things to do. It's my honor to introduce you to the 25-26 Fuquay-Varina Art Center competitive dance teams.
Wow.
The teams have been in, well, they auditioned about a year ago. They were selected for their teams. They went through rigorous rehearsals and choreographic sessions, and then they attend a variety of competitive conferences to compete against others in our region. Some of our, well, this year I can say, some of the ladies on the team have also competed as soloists in duets, trios, small groups, as well as the large team outings. And, well, they again have done us proud, prouder than I had even anticipated. What I'd like to do right now is I'm going to introduce you to, first and foremost, Jennifer Rankin. Jennifer's the program coordinator. The dance team falls under her supervision. And she will introduce you to the coaches, but also give you a quick summary of how this dance teams have done this past year.
All right, thank you. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good.
We're going to talk about coaches, and then I'm going to tell you all these lists of numbers that are on my paper for the things that we won this year, which are really exciting, but we're going to save that for a second. We have two dance teams. We have an elite dance team, which is coached by Jordan, please stand, and Ashley, who's not here. And then we have a Dashmore dance team, which is coached by Marjorie and Cora. And then Tammy oversees all of the dance teams. They direct our kids, they organize the things, they make all the dance teams things happen. They are a wonderful asset to the program, and we are happy to have them. Thank you.
Good to see you. Yes.
We have 33 dancers across both teams this year, and during their competition season, they won 190 awards.
Wow.
They won 13 competition scholarships. They won 6 judges awards, 1 sportsmanship award, which is my favorite. And they won multiple invitations to nationals. They did that. They work hard every week. They meet as teams once a week, but then they come to class. They meet outside of class. They do private lessons. They do extra things on the weekends. They go to extra competitions. They do everything, and they work really hard, and they do a great job. We are super proud of them.
Wonderful.
I'm going to call them up, and you're going to stand up here. Yes? You ready? And you're going to get, Miss Tammy or Miss Jordan's going to hand you something when you get up there, and then we're going to take a picture. Are you ready? Okay. I'm just going to call, so you're going to go when I call you. Avery, Tegan, Ellen, Kinsley, Braylon, Mercy, Trinity, Alexis, Delaney, Grace, Abby, Willa, Riley, Brookley, Kylie, Landry, Callie, Lexi, Finley, Ava, Lila, Emma, Camilla, Eva, Mackenzie, and Morgan. We are super proud of you guys. You did a great job this season. You worked really hard. You should be proud of yourselves. Scoosh together, because we're going to take a picture. You know it. Get tight. Get tight. Do the thing.
Hey, guys,
If
come
you're
on.
little, get in the front.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate you so much. Got a good group. Thank you. Thank you.
Feel free.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Thank you for working with them.
Okay, coaches. All right, get in the picture. Beautiful. Good.
Yep.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Appreciate all you do. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Okay. Okay, our next item of business is a proclamation for Juneteenth celebration, and I'll read that proclamation. Whereas Juneteenth commemorates June 19th, 1865, when the emancipation of the last enslaved African Americans was announced in Galveston, Texas, marking a definitive step toward freedom. And whereas this day honors the resilience and courage of African Americans who fought for their liberation and continued to shape the American story through their achievements and cultural heritage. And whereas we recognize that education regarding our history, including the struggle for civil rights and the ongoing quest for racial justice, is essential to creating a truly inclusive society. And whereas Juneteenth fosters unity and reflection, encouraging us all to uphold the values of freedom and equality in our daily lives. And whereas the town of Fuquay-Varina is proud to partner in the Manifest event, bringing our community together through education and celebration. Now, therefore, I, William H. Harris, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth in Fuquay-Varina. I encourage all residents to join the Manifest events and embrace the spirit of freedom and community that defines us. Together, let us foster a culture of respect and appreciation for the diverse history that makes our town strong. Signed this day, William H. Harris, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina. So we encourage you to participate in the Manifest events or the Juneteenth events that will be occurring this weekend here in Fuquay-Varina. That will be announced even more at the end of the meeting. Our next item is a proclamation for Parks and Recreation Month, July 2026. I'll read the proclamation acknowledging Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas parks and recreation programs serve as a vital cornerstone of community life, essential for fostering public health, enhancing the quality of life, and ensuring the environmental and economic vitality of our region. And whereas the town of Fuquay-Varina Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Department is dedicated to enriching the lives of residents through lifelong learning, wellness initiatives, and diverse recreational opportunities. And whereas for over 40 years, the town of Fuquay-Varina has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to these values by cultivating a park system that provides citizens with essential spaces to play, learn, connect, and engage. And whereas our expansive network of 18 parks, greenways, and trails comprising 300 acres of land serve as a catalyst for economic prosperity by increasing property values, boosting tourism, supporting local business retention, and fostering a safer community environment. And whereas July is recognized nationwide as Park and Recreation Month to honor these vital public assets. Now therefore, I, William H. Harris, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim July 2026 as Park and Recreation Month in the town of Fuquay-Varina. I invite all residents to celebrate this month by exploring our local trails, enjoying our beautiful parks, and recognizing the profound impact these resources have on our community spirit and well-being. Signed this day, William H. Harris, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have some of our Parks and Rec staff here tonight.
Okay, thank you. We're going to recognize the Parks and Rec staff. Certainly, certainly. Please come up. Please come up. Thank you so much for reminding me. All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for all you did. Thank you.
You doing all right?
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Y'all for coming
Thank
out.
you, sir. All you do. Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
Appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
And item 4D, a proclamation, America 250th anniversary. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas on July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Continental Congress, signaling the birth of a new nation founded upon the revolutionary principles of liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of that historic founding, representing 2.5 centuries of growth, perseverance, and the evolving American spirit. And whereas since its inception, the United States of America has navigated profound challenges and celebrated monumental triumphs, forging a diverse tapestry of cultures, traditions, and voices that define the American identity today. And whereas this milestone provides a unique opportunity to reflect upon our history, honor those who have sacrificed for our freedoms, and reaffirm our commitment to the ideas that unite us as one people under one flag. And whereas the residents of Fuquay-Varina play an integral part in this national story, contributing their unique voices and dedication to the continued progress of our democracy. And whereas July 4th, 2026 serves as a momentous occasion to celebrate not only the past, but also the potential of our future, a time to renew our resolve to build a more perfect union for all generations to come. Now, therefore, I, William H. Harris, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim July 4th, 2026 as a special day of recognition in the town of Fuquay-Varina to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States. I call upon all citizens to join in the spirit of celebration and reflection as we honor 250 years of American independence. Let us celebrate our history, cherish our freedoms, and look forward with hope to the next chapter of our great nation's journey. Signed this day, William H. Harris, Mayor, Town of Fuquay-Varina. Thank you very much. Now we will move on to item 5, public comment period. At this time, the clerk will call on individuals who are in attendance and have registered to address the town board prior to the meeting. The public comment period is a time for the public to address the town board on any matter not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. The public comment period is not a time for the town board to respond or engage in back and forth conversations with the public. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly stating your name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes so that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Town Clerk Wilder, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes. Brad Gleason?
Okay,
Glesh?
Mr. Gleason? Okay, thank you. Come to the podium.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Brad Glesk, G-L-E-S-G.
Okay,
I reside at 737 High Water Place, which is Morgan Creek.
right.
I'm speaking to town and also Department of Recreation on behalf of myself and other senior citizens who enjoy play table tennis, ping pong. And I would like to have a request to help us to improve our opportunities to play. Right now, there is only in South Park one table tennis equipment which is set up for us once a week for 2 hours. And there's quite a big group, sometimes up to 12 people joining and try to play. There's a group of seniors, men and women, and also we appreciate we have new opportunity in New Park. There is one permanent table, but that one also would be better utilized if you have more than one table. And I heard on a grapevine that actually there is one more table, but maybe just the place to set it up for us. So I would like to request if town and Parks and Recreation could look it up in a matter and help us to improve our physical ability to participate in sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Tracy Hutchison?
Hutchison? All right, please come forward.
Hi, my name is Tracy Hutchinson. I reside at 408 Long Lake Drive in North Lakes. And I would like to rescind my vote that I voted after our last meeting because what we were introduced at our last meeting does not seem to have been what's now prevailed. We live literally in Long Lake, so now we have you can park here, but on this one specific block that we live on, you cannot now park, but then the rest of the blocks down the rest of Long Lake, you can park. So I'm not really sure how our police department's gonna be able to say, well, you can park here, but you can't park here, but you can park here. We were instructed that we were gonna be looking at, it was going to be a whole road, or it was going to be a section of area, but we're literally one block. And out of the one block, we had 5 houses that voted for yes, 1 no. And I was voting yes to be neighborly and to help my neighbors at the end of the street because we were the ones that dealt with all of the traffic at the beginning of the year. But now all of it's coming back our way, because one of the areas that has now been left red is the green space that crosses right into the high school. So now everybody's gonna come in and park and drop their kids off there. So there's just, for us right now, there's just no point. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that this, the way that this is laying out now is not gonna work, even for the benefit of our neighbors.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Mary Miltenberger.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Mary Miltenberger, Miltenberger, and I too am a resident of Long Lake, 600 Long Lake Drive, the corner of Catfish and Long Lake. And I am here speaking to you this evening, and I know many neighbors will, on behalf of the students, of the children. I live at the corner of Catfish and Long Lake, and the mail kiosk for our North Lake side is right behind our home. There's a stop sign at Catfish and Long Lake. There is also a fire hydrant there, and it also is a middle school bus stop. You cannot park in front of my home, but you can park along Catfish. There is no way, if parking is on both sides of the street and a car is coming up or down Catfish, another car can pass. Not to mention, the common area is behind our home. There are young children playing there. Families are coming, walking their children. People are coming, walking their dogs. There's a number of elderly folks, and I'm one of them, in the neighborhood. They come down to get their mail. Children will be children. I've seen children on bicycles. Parents stop them, or on little scooters. They dart in front. You are waiting for something to happen to a middle schooler here in Fuquay-Varina. I have already contacted the Wake County Transportation Department. I am waiting for a call from Mr. Jason Tompkins. I have a case number. He is to come to our home and address the situation at that corner. And on a lighter note, I love Fuquay-Varina. We've been here for 8 years. I watched most of the houses in that area go up. The point I'm trying to make is we need to consider the safety of our children. And Fuquay-Varina, it is a lovely town. I'm from the Northeast. We do not have Ben Franklin intersections, 90-degree intersections. They curve, they drop back. You can't see. As a matter of fact, I've watched and I thought it was wonderful. Police department, thank you. When they set up a speed trap along Catfish and they caught, I don't know how many, speeding from Old Honeycutt all the way down Long Lake. And I brought the map if anyone wanted to see where you can park, where you can't park, where you can park, where you can't park. If cars are parked there from the high school, in the wintertime, it's dark, something is going to happen to someone there. So I ask that the town reconsiders, not to mention the fact that the survey was done on a weekend. We had our meeting on Thursday. There is no way that all the neighbors had a chance to vote. It was a beautiful weekend. They were out and about. Some weren't even home. Some didn't even know the QR code. I thank you all very much. I know my time is up. Thank you for what you do. Take care.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Paul Meza.
Good evening. My name is Paul Meza. I reside at 744 Catherine Lake. I'm going to piggyback pretty much on some of the stuff that Mary said. My issue is that I don't think the people in North and South Lakes were given an adequate amount of time to vote on the traffic situation. I also think that how it was communicated, from what I understand, is it was communicated through our North and South Lakes website. I live in a section that's it's known as the Silvers, and it's not because we've won silver medals in the Olympics. it's because we have silver hair and we're a little bit older. I would challenge anybody on this board here right now that if someone tried to communicate something to you and gave it to you through Instagram, Snapchat, or one or the other social medias, you might not be able to get it or understand it. What I'm trying to say is that the way you communicated the results of this study was the way that should have been communicated to everybody it should have came from the town board. You know, we got the results of what this was, here's the map. But yet, my next door neighbor is 85 years old. She didn't know anything about it. I have another neighbor over on Jones Lake. He knew nothing about it. And also what Mary said, the time frame, the meeting we had was Thursday, okay? And then we had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to vote. I was gone on Saturday and Sunday. I'm just trying to say that I think what we need to do is maybe revisit the way that this was communicated to everybody in North and South Lakes. Put what's going to be later on this meeting on hold, and maybe re-vote. And whatever their vote is, hey, this is America, and I think everybody in North and South Lakes will abide by the results if everybody is given a chance to vote. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to refrain from clapping if you recall the protocol, mentioned that earlier, and I'd like to acknowledge that again, that we would prefer you not clap to maintain the decorum of the meeting. Thank you.
Cherie Ward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Cherie Ward, 4604 Springcrest Court. During the last meeting, you voted for a budget that includes what you call improvements at Hilltop Needmore Park. You've heard from many people who would not call them improvements. They are athletic fields and parking lots that will disturb what is now a serene park that people would like to enjoy just the way it is. You're probably hoping that the objections will die down now that the budget has been voted on, but from what I've seen, heard, and read, that doesn't seem likely. People are frustrated and people are angry. They feel that they're not being heard when they've told you that they don't want ball fields at Hilltop. Your words indicate that people who have stood before you were heard, but your actions indicate something quite different. The night of the vote, most of you had pre-written statements ready to go to explain how you were planning to vote. Was that supposed to make people who spoke that night feel heard? It made them feel ignored. People are feeling that their elected officials, which many of them voted for, are not making decisions that represent them. You may see fewer park supporters attending these meetings in the coming weeks, but they are still out there. They're not going to forget. You know, people have their own experiences at the park that they don't want to see change. The quiet walks, a morning jog, a family bike ride on a Saturday afternoon. I know you've said that the Blue Trail isn't going away, it would just be rerouted. But that's not exactly the point. The things that will change are the reasons people are raising objections. I'm concerned about the tall, mature trees that will have to be cut down for your parking lots and the rolling hills that will have to be bulldozed for your nice, level ball fields. And think of how it will affect the people who live right there. Their backyard experience at night will be quite different, with LED lights from the ball fields nearby. They won't be able to enjoy peace and quiet in their own backyard. I'm not one of those people. I just know that there are people that live there. Just imagine if you walked out on your deck to try to enjoy a cookout with family or friends and heard the screams of fans at a baseball game. I heard some of you say that you like that sound, but that is just your perspective. Are you not supposed to be a bit objective here and consider the feelings of the people? People will remember what is done here. The good news is, even though something is in the budget, it doesn't have to happen. Often the sign of good leadership is knowing when a course correction is best, and this may be one of those times. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Nancy Unwin.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Nancy Unwin, and I live at 4705 Linaria Lane. I am here regarding the $10 million allocation to bulldoze the mature trees and rolling hills of the Blue Trail at Hilltop Needmar Park for ball fields. This is deeply personal. My husband recently passed away. In my grief, the shade, the serenity, and the rolling hills of the Blue Trail have been my sanctuary for healing. Even in recent oppressive heat, that forest canopy creates a wonderful constant cool breeze that has been a literal godsend for my health. There is absolutely nothing flat about this terrain. It is a beautiful landscape of rolling hills you plan to level. I am not alone. I recently spoke with a woman who doesn't live in Crooked Creek, who also uses this trail to cope with losing her husband. This trail is a sanctuary. I carry this message in memory of my husband, Doug Unwin, and his golfing buddy, Niall Hodum. They love this beautiful terrain and love walking the Blue Trail after it became a preserve. There are many people, including my friend, Niall's wife, Terry Hodum of Holly Springs, walking the Blue Trail using that shaded, quiet green space to heal from losing a loved one or for mental well-being. But this isn't just a sanctuary for humans. If you bring in bulldozers, you're destroying habitat and a vital living ecosystem home to endangered eastern towhee, the pileated woodpeckers, and wildlife in the underbrush, recently a baby bunny. One commissioner remarked that the ball fields would look beautiful after bulldozing it all. I urge you to look closer. There is nothing beautiful about destroying mature forest and grading hills into flat turf. I ask this board honestly, have you even walked the Blue Trail? Have you stood on those rolling hills, or are you making these $10 million decisions from paper and maps? Because if you had walked it, you would know exactly what a devastating loss this will be for Fuquay-Varina. Furthermore, let us remember how the town acquired the land. Wake County bought this from the Conservation Fund for $4 million to preserve green space. It was gifted to Fuquay-Varina to be a preserve. The fact that the town had to cut weeds initially does not mean the land was worthless. It was a wild gem. Voters already rejected a bond for these fields. I urge the board to pause execution, look at alternative sites, and honor the true purpose of Hilltop Needmar Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Andrew Rubley.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and town staff. I'm Andrew Rubley. I live at 331 Larktree Lane in Fuquay-Varina. And I am one of the residents who care deeply about the future of our community. Before I begin, I want to thank the mayor and the council for recognizing July as Parks and Recreation Month. It is a reminder of how important our parks, green spaces, and trails and recreational opportunities are to the health and to the quality of life of our residents. I want to speak tonight about Hilltop Needmar Town Park and Preserve and the recent decision to remove the Blue Trail from the park's future plans. First, I want to acknowledge that youth sports are important. Athletic facilities provide opportunities for our children and families to stay active, build friendships, and strengthen our community. It is not an argument against baseball, recreation, or investing in our parks. What my concern is about balance and preserving what makes Hilltop Needmar unique to all of us. As Fuquay-Varina continues to grow, open spaces become more valuable, not less. Natural trails, forests, and quiet places to walk, reflect, and connect with the nature are resources that cannot easily be replaced once they are lost. They contribute to physical health, mental wellness, environmental stewardship, and the quality of life for all residents of all ages. If we are celebrating Parks and Recreation Month, we should also recognize that recreation comes in many forms. For some residents, recreation means baseball fields and athletic facilities. For others, it means walking trails, observing wildlife, or simply finding a quiet place in nature. A strong park system should provide opportunities for both. Our town has spoken often about health, wellness, and preserving the character of what makes Fuquay-Varina special. Hilltop Needmore presents an opportunity to put those values into action. Growth is inevitable. Development is inevitable. But how we grow is a choice. 20 years from now, I believe residents will not judge us solely by the number of facilities we built. They will judge us by whether we had the foresight to protect the natural spaces that make this community worth calling home to all of us. I respectfully ask the council to continue exploring opportunities to preserve and expand trail access within Hilltop Needmore and to ensure that the conservation and recreation remains equally important priorities as future phases of the park are considered. Thank you for your time and your service to this community.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Aiden Tulin.
Good evening. My name is Aiden Toland, Toland. I live at 508 Long Lake Drive in the North Lake subdivision. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. My house is directly across from the open lot, and I've lived there for 5 years. We should be basing any decision as far as the ordinance on the data we have. If Holly Springs has a complete ban on parking during school hours and that's working, we should have the same thing. If every other school in Wake County has a ban and it is working, I don't know why we would deviate. I have two separate positions. My first position is that there should be a 100% ban on parking during school hours. Everyone that lives there has ownership rights associated with owning their home. At a minimum, everyone should be able to peacefully enjoy their home. Homeowners do not have an ownership right in on-street parking. It's a town road. I respectfully request that you pass your first draft that was done before the voting. We must pass whatever is going to eradicate the student parking and the parent stopping. My second point or position is that the empty lot and the surrounding area should have never been put to a vote. Parking is not permitted in front of the empty lot right now. So there are 5 houses that are affected that surround the empty lot, and we don't really have a voice because we're so few, but that doesn't diminish our right to peacefully enjoy our homes. We voted in hopes of peacefully enjoying our homes. Everyone else in our voting group voted to try and get as much parking as they possibly can. A homeowner's property right to peaceful enjoyment of their property far outweighs a neighbor's right to park on a public street. The Fuquay-Varina Police Department has spent years trying to stop students from parking in front of the open lot. I've also worked with Dr. Thompson from the school board. A lot of progress has been made. I saw officers at the intersection of Long Lake and Fontana Lake on most days monitoring things and writing citations. To make a 180-degree change now and open this area up to parking will have been a huge waste of resources and taxpayer funds. To pass the 75% option is telling students that they can't do what they were doing in the cul-de-sac, however, they can move to the area in front of the empty lot and do whatever they want there. It would be difficult to enforce and more expensive. The goal of this ordinance is to prevent all student parking and standing so everyone can have a peaceful home. The goal is not to provide as much parking as possible for residents. I have one final note. The Fuquay-Varina Fire Marshal does require a minimum unobstructed width of 20 feet be maintained, and with cars lining on one side of the road or both sides of the roads, I'm not sure that 20 feet would be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your perspective. Thank you so much.
Lynn Dabert.
My name is Lynn Dalbert. I live at 5325 Everyone Drive in Fuquay-Varina for 46 years. I'm 2 miles away from Hilltop Park. Hundreds have been advocates for saving Hilltop Needmore Park for over 10 years. I'll be talking about facts, loss, integrity, and faith. Our funds need to be used wisely. Fact, there are other facilities in greater need of repair that residents have asked for years. Fact, the other is lifelong. Grief is loss that you remember and work through. We miss those advocates that have passed. Dick Sears, mayor of Holly Springs, supported our park. A young father struggling through a meeting when Fuquay-Varina received Hilltop as a gift. He said it was his last speech. Both have passed from cancer. This is our loss. This should not be about power and money. Saving Hilltop from destruction is the right and just thing to do for families now and the future. This is a gathering for humans, nature, and vast species of wildlife. We're keeping memories alive and making new ones set in the atmosphere and the wonder we have now. There's no amount that can assess that. Like life, once it's gone, thoughts can dwindle and lose value. Walking these unique lands, watching wildlife, and experiencing peace is a gem and a rarity. We all need that calm and reconnection. That's what heals us. And as you've heard repeatedly, even tonight, that's what we need to heal. So please fund other current facilities. Use lands that have been suggested or pause it indefinitely. This loss will be our grief, and we will remember it. Restore our faith and trust in you, the town board. Don't take our peace and memories. Those also cannot be replaced. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. We appreciate it so much.
Jimena Martinez.
Hello.
My name is Jimena Martinez, and I live at 413 Long Lake Drive, and I'm here to talk about the parking issue at North Lakes. On the map, currently, everything is being done based on how everyone would, which I appreciate that the town is looking into what everyone would prefer. But one of the things that I do want to address is something that I addressed before when we were having the problem with the school children coming into our neighborhood to make the U-turn to get back to the high school. The middle schoolers are on the same schedule as the high schoolers. And we have 3 bus stops in our neighborhood, and 2 of them currently, as mentioned before, is still with the open parking where you can park. One of the issues is, as we all, as teenagers, don't always drive the way we need to, or are in a rush, or are running late. And honestly, my child, I felt more comfortable for him walking to school when he was going to elementary school than now that he's going to middle school, because the roads are a little crazy in the morning. So what I would like to request, because currently, if you look at the map, my house right now, there's no parking in front of my house. So that part of it doesn't affect me. But what does affect me is letting my child leave my home in the mornings and not knowing what's gonna happen on the way to the bus stop. I think that should be, as mentioned before, certain areas should be considered based on the need for the neighborhood, for the children, right? Some parents are not home when their kids are walking to school. I have the luxury right now that I can watch him, make sure he turns, and for a while, until everything was resolved, I actually would walk him to the bus stop, because I wanted to make sure that there was nothing going on the roads, because there were so many U-turns and so many kids driving fast. So I feel like that's one of the things that does need to be taken into consideration if the town looks at where these buses are stopping and making sure that at least those streets are not gonna be heavily used by the high schoolers that are gonna come into our neighborhood if we are gonna proceed with it being voted by street. I think that Long Lake and Jones Lake, where the bus stops are, and right now Catfish, as mentioned before, which is on Long Lake and Catfish, that corner, those are areas that I think are very important to consider when allowing through traffic from the high school for them to be able to park in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your concerns. Appreciate your comments.
Emily Holloway.
My name's Emily Holloway, 312 Andrew Road. Good evening, commissioners, Mayor Harris, and town managers. Tonight, I come before you with a simple request. Recognizing that Fuquay-Varina has been awarded the status of Tree City USA, let's have the town declare a moratorium on cutting down trees this summer. I recognize that buildings and businesses have been approved for construction. However, I am disheartened as I watch tree-filled acres being clear-cut for profit and development. When the Target shopping center was cleared for development, there was a line of tall pines along Highway 401. They are now gone. They could have provided shade, a green border to a blacktop parking lot. Now, the Lowe's grocery store complex at Purfoy and Honeycutt is well underway. There will be abundant black-topped parking lot spaces for all the businesses. And at one time, there was a lovely small copse of trees at the corner intersection that could have been intentionally preserved for use perhaps as a picnic area or corner spot with benches, as I'm sure sidewalks will be built along that area. Now those trees are gone. Directly across the street, the tree canopy has been leveled for more development, more asphalt, more cars, leaving one skinny line of trees between that development and the existing neighborhood abutting the construction. Certainly, an effort could have been made to save and incorporate some of those trees into the design, showing goodwill to all those affected in their homes. They will now be subject to runoff because of the lack of trees with no buffer. And on this past Saturday, when I drove to Harris Teeter, my breath was taken away when I saw that something had dramatically changed. It was behind the Murphy gas station. All the trees were gone. Not even a thin buffer was left bordering the Harris Teeter gas station, and I literally felt viscerally ill. With temperatures consistently in the high 90s and sometimes 100 degrees, the UHI, or urban heat islands, are being created from all this asphalt and blacktop. It's raising the temperature. An asphalt parking lot can reach 100 degrees on a hot day. Trees provide shade and can help dramatically ameliorate the situation. Trees can reduce outdoor temperatures anywhere from 7 to 10 degrees. The green spaces help our mental health, reducing anxiety, stress, and depression. And by using smart surfaces, which include horizontal, nature-based, and nature-inspired infrastructure interventions, we can vastly improve the problems of air pollution, reduce energy consumption with less stress on HVAC systems, and often mitigate storm runoff. Reflective, cool roofs, solar panels, porous and permeable pavements, and of course, trees can help municipalities save money. Large trees can retain 166 up to 332 gallons of water. They provide habitats for birds, insects, and small mammals. The trees just make us feel better. The next time you pull into a parking lot, do you look for a shaded spot? Well, I do. Please consider my suggestion. The town has the ability to work to require developers to incorporate and save existing trees in their blueprints. We've lost so many already. It takes at least 10 years for a newly planted tree to give us shade. If we could just pause and appreciate what is already here, Fuquay-Varina would be a better and greener town.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time to share your thoughts. Thank you.
Kevin Clarkin.
Good evening, everyone. Kevin Clarkin, 804 Long Lake Drive in Fuquay-Varina. And I am here very briefly to just talk about my street because we were one of the streets that now will have no parking on our street. And I am here to just say thank you, because if someone had told me 2 months ago that tonight is a potential vote to pass this, that I could actually walk outside and not have cars zipping by or parked on my street and there will be peace and quiet, I never thought that would have happened. But you listened to our request, and as I said, I am only here talking about my street because I am totally sympathetic to the other streets that will still be facing this problem. And as the expression goes in football, never take points off the board. I am all for another vote coming and giving people another opportunity, but I just want it to be ensured that those of us who have passed and had 100%, that we would not, through any risk, have something change about what we have. But I wanted to thank you for listening and doing something and actually making it all come together, because through a joint effort with the police, who I'm sure were tired of people calling them, us coming and expressing our opinions, you all heard us and have done something about it. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew that from my street, with 100% voting for no parking here, that you heard from us and heard our thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your feedback. We appreciate it so much.
Hugh O'Carroll.
How are you doing?
Good evening.
My name is Hugh O'Carroll. I live in 3505 Long Townsend Avenue, and I'd like to speak briefly on the North Lake School No Parking Zone Ordinance. Start with a bit of appreciation. I'd like to thank the town for running the process. I think the community survey approach was great. The residents were heard, and that matters, so I thank you for that. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I see every day. And I've lived in the neighborhood for 2 years. Love Fuquay-Varina, by the way. I walk the street every morning during the impacted hours. I walk my dog. So I'm not speculating. I'm reporting what I observe firsthand. I see congestion. I see idling engines, slamming doors, loud music, litter, cups, wrappers, debris, which I try with my neighbours to pick up all the time. On both the streets and the grass verges. Why it matters. My children play on the street, their friends play on the street. There is certainly driver congestion, which is hazardous. There's persistent noise, and litter affects quality of life and property values, which is a concern, obviously. Nobody buys a home expecting it to turn into a school parking lot. That's a key point. My street, Long Townsend Avenue, was excluded from the recommended ordinance despite having a vote of 67% for, but you know, I guess the 65 or the 75% number was selected for a reason I may not understand. So my street and my family are left completely unprotected, and we feel that we're just moving the problem from Billy to Jack, as it were, and it's not really. What's required is a holistic solution. So we have a patchwork ordinance covering some streets but not others. Students will logically just migrate to wherever parking remains available. I think, you know, the only effective outcome for me and my neighbours is a 100% ban on student parking during the school hours across all impacted North Lake streets. So that's the ask, not a partial solution, a comprehensive one. Give every resident the same protection, and make North Lakes a no-go zone for student parking entirely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Tim Cunningham. And Town Clerk Wilder, the timer was not working.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
My name is Tim Cunningham, and I reside at 404 Long Lake Drive. I'm here to address Agenda Item 10A, Town Code Amendment, North Lake Subdivision, as many of my neighbors have tonight. The map presented for this amendment this evening does not reflect the map or the method that was presented to our neighborhood to vote on regarding the no parking, stopping, or standing ordinance. My vote after that meeting was exclusively to designate the entire neighborhood, all of our streets, to benefit some of my neighbors under this ordinance, not a single vote on the ordinance for my block. As such, I desire to withdraw my yes vote unless this process changes and we continue to designate the entire neighborhood as a no stopping, no parking, no standing area. I would support this even though it does not benefit my household, but the piecemeal map that was presented was not what we were shown the night of the meeting. I believe that this agenda item should be halted so that further discussion or community involvement can occur and there a better vote taken from our whole neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
We have no other public comments.
So we've reached the limit for the public comments. Now we will move on to public hearing. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present their request and for the public to provide input and express their support or opposition. Public hearings are not a time for the town board to respond to public input or engage in back and forth conversation with the public. If you wish to speak and are physically in attendance, please step forward to the podium one at a time, provide your name and address on the registration log at the podium, and clearly state your name and address for the public record. We ask that all who address the town board limit their comments to 3 minutes so that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. The first item in the public hearing is the zoning map amendment, Herbert Proctor, Stewart and Proctor, PLLC, 313 Raleigh Street, REZ 2026-06. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison.
Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of 0.24 acres located at 313 Raleigh Street from the residential medium density zoning district to the town center residential zoning district. The requested zoning map amendment is consistent with the 2040 Community Vision Land Use Plan and supports several of the land use plan's policies. As the plot plan illustrates, the proposal is to add, an addition onto the existing single-family home. A rezoning to TCR will bring the front setback into compliance and significantly reduce the encroachment of the existing structure into the rear setback, eliminating all but one pre-existing legal nonconformity. On May 18, 2026, the Planning Board unanimously recommended approval before the June 1st Town Board meeting. The petitioner requested a tabling to this June 16th meeting tonight, as they were not able to attend the June 1st meeting. On June 1st, you opened the public hearing and voted to table the request to tonight's meeting. The suggested motion tonight is to approve REZ 2026-06, a zoning map amendment for 313 Raleigh Street from the residential medium density zoning district to the town center residential zoning district, as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from the board? If not, the hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment? The hearing is now closed. Any further discussion by the board?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion to approve the amendment, let it be known by saying aye. There's no
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Did you have a comment, Mayor? No opposed, the ayes have it. The motion passed. Thank you very much. We will move on to item 6B. These are items tabled from previous meeting. Voluntary annexation petition, Colin A. Grimes, Jennifer P. Grimes, David Charles Davis, David Davis Scott, Revocable Trust, and Rebecca Shelton Davis, 5441-05301 and 5255 Wade Nash Road, ANX 2023-13. This item is to be tabled, but more information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison.
Thank you.
Hello, Pam. Okay.
I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The combined 76.246 acre property is non-contiguous to the town's corporate limits. Town water and sewer are currently unavailable to serve the subject properties. However, both will be extended with development of the Elmsley subdivision, currently under review. Fire flow test resulted in adequate fire flow, and town sanitation and recycling services are available to serve the property. At the March 24th, 2026 meeting, the town clerk certified that the petition was sufficient and met the requirements prescribed by the North Carolina general statutes, and the town board adopted a resolution setting a public hearing for the April 7th, 2026 town board meeting. Prior to that meeting, the petitioner submitted a request to table the item to tonight's meeting, but prior to tonight's meeting, the petitioner submitted a request to table the item to the August 18th, 2026 regular town board meeting. The present total value of the properties being annexed is $5,013,032. The suggested motion tonight is to table consideration of ANX 2023-13, an annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include property owned by Colin H. Grimes, Jennifer P. Grimes, David Charles Davis, David Davis Scott, Revocable Trust, and Rebecca Shelton Davis, ANX 2023-13, and the associated declaration of annexation to the August 18th, 2026 regular town board meeting per the request of the petitioner.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The hearing is now open. At the request of the petitioner, management and staff are recommending that the item be tabled and the public hearing be continued to the August 18th, 2026 town board meeting. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mayor, so moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that this item be tabled until August the 18th, 2026. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Item 7A, there are no further public hearings for the June 16th town board meeting. Now we come to item 8, the consent agenda. What is the board's pleasure on the items on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we pass the consent agenda items 8A, 8B, and 8C as presented and recommended.
Second. It's been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. All right, we are now at the administrative reports. Item 10A, Town Code Amendment, North Lakes No Parking, Stopping, or Standing Ordinance, Part 7, Chapter 3, Parking Regulations. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Assistant Town Manager Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Board. Tonight, we have before you consideration for an ordinance that would implement no parking, stopping, or standing regulations in portions of the North Lake subdivision. As a bit of historical background, town management, the police department, and public works department have worked really over the last year and a half to identify a proposed solution to North Lake's concerns about Willow Spring High School student parking and carpool traffic. Student parking over the past school year particularly has been prevalent, especially on multiple blocks of Long Lake Drive, Catherine Lake Court, and Fontana Lake Drive. As student parking has expanded west of Long Lake Drive due to there being more student drivers that are parking off campus, limiting parking restrictions to those 3 streets is expected to push student parking onto neighboring streets, which is why this comprehensive approach was taken to propose the ordinance that did identify no parking in all of the streets in North Lakes. Challenges with Wake County High School carpool traffic and student parking impacting adjacent neighborhoods is not unique to Fuquay-Varina, and we've learned from our peer communities. The proven solution that has worked in other communities is a no parking on school days ordinance, and we're recommending that in effect from 6:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. for all of North Lakes was what was initially proposed. What you see tonight is going to be those streets that have consensus as measured through the community survey. This approach to regulate no parking on school days mirrors ordinances that have proven effective in neighborhoods experiencing comparable challenges in other Wake County towns. And Holly Springs' ordinance near Holly Springs High School is one of our comparisons. Does appear to have eliminated student parking following aggressive enforcement efforts around the beginning of the academic year. If adopted, we would expect to conduct the same targeted enforcement at the beginning of the next school year. On June 4th, Mayor Harris and Commissioners Haynes and Voren, as well as myself, Police Chief Smith, and Public Works Director Stevenson, and our Assistant IT Director Calvin Harmon, as well as Max Kirschling from our GIS division, hosted a feedback meeting with residents on June 4th. Management and staff at that meeting presented the background regarding the proposed ordinance and other solutions that had previously been explored that were discussed at the April 21st Town Board meeting. Management and staff shared that while applying parking restrictions to all of North Lakes would be most effective at comprehensively addressing the parking issues, we communicated very clearly that a smaller area would be recommended if that's where there was consensus. Staff noted that applying restrictions only where parking challenges exist today is likely to push parking onto neighboring streets if the zones were not large enough. This was all shared at the community meeting on June 4th. As part of that meeting, the attendees were able to ask questions and provide feedback through an individualized address-based GIS survey tool that was open through June 8th, and the 75% approval level was identified as the consensus level target for staff recommendation, indicating there is broad consensus, not simply a simple majority for this substantial change. What you see before you is a map showing the results on a block-by-block basis. For that survey maps, you can see green areas met the 75% threshold, yellow areas were between 50 and 75%, and red areas were majority were opposed to a no parking ordinance. I will note that we had a very large response rate, 130 valid eligible addresses of the 290 possible responded. That's a 45% response rate, which is very high for a community survey. I'll also note that on the whole, the response rate was 66.9% in favor of a no parking ordinance. So there was not consensus for the neighborhood as a whole, but there was in these green streets that are identified. And then you'll see just highlighted in red the proposed streets that are identified for the no parking stopping and standing ordinance, which are recommended. You'll see several blocks of Long Lake Drive, a portion of Jones Lake Road from the South Lakes Dam northward to Catherine Lake, and as well as Fontana Lake Drive and Beaver Dam Lake in their entirety. So the survey data, as I already noted, was analyzed by street block to determine where consensus was achieved. Already mentioned the response rate, and the color-coded map shows those streets that did achieve the 75% threshold. Based on the citizen feedback that we heard, town staff recommends enacting the no parking stopping or standing on school days between the hours of 6:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. for those street segments with consensus that this would only be applicable on school days, not holidays, summer, Saturdays, or Sundays. The streets that achieve consensus are listed before you. I just mentioned them. And upon enactment, if approved by the town board, the Public Works Department will install signage that signifies the areas covered by the ordinance, as well as some entry signs on the 3 entrances into the subdivision to indicate that there are no parking, stopping, or standing restrictions in place to deter school traffic. The police department will provide enforcement with proactive education and enforcement to encourage compliance at the beginning of the school year. What we've heard from neighboring communities is it takes very aggressive, proactive enforcement for the first couple weeks of each semester. After that, behavioral patterns have started to form, and we would envision it being more reactive as students understand where they are not allowed to park by ordinance. In addition to this proposed ordinance, some other steps, town management and Mayor Harris are meeting with Willow Spring High School administration in July to help address the impact that student and parent behavior is having on neighbors. And if this ordinance is a part of that approach, we will certainly seek their help in communicating this expectation and new ordinance to students and parents, and also communicate that through social media. As a fiscal note, the final cost of signage is expected to be approximately $4,000, which can be accommodated in the existing public works budget for fiscal 26 and 27. So management and staff's recommendation before you tonight is to amend Part 7, Chapter 3 of the Town Code of Ordinances, Parking Regulations, and Appendix 1, Traffic, Section 135, as presented and recommended. I'll be happy to address any questions that you might have.
Okay.
Commissioner Voren.
Sure. Thank you, Mark, for all the work you've done on this. So I want to, hearing some of the comments earlier, especially with regard to the availability and open time of the survey, I'm trying to think of the best way forward here. Perhaps tabling this to the July 7th meeting, I believe, and reopening the survey might give people an option to give their feedback. I think now, given what we've heard, people kind of understand what maybe better what they're voting for. And I say that, I think, I'm fully in support of this amendment to the ordinance because I live on Catherine Lake myself, and I deal with, I hear I see the parking issues. I hear the kids with their very loud trucks that sound like semis, when they rev up in the mornings and in the afternoons, and just whenever they are able to escape from school to leave. But I think, one of my other thoughts, living in the neighborhood, I think the way I heard about this survey, if I had not attended the meeting on June 4th, was it? Mm-hmm. I didn't hear any feedback from, or comments, or notice from the HOA. And so I think my expectation was that, I believe you told me you kind of communicated this survey through the HOA, and they did not, I didn't see anything personally from that. Am I remembering that correctly?
Well, we communicated the meeting notice through the HOA, which mm-hmm. they did send out. Mm-hmm. I don't believe the HOA sent out a survey link. I understand from residents of the community it was shared on Facebook. Right. And in full transparency, the town does not have a master email address list for all of the addresses in town. So while we were able to gather people's addresses that took the survey, there was simply no way to email out to every resident of North Lakes, this is a survey link, because we don't have a massive inventory of email addresses. Maybe Google does, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking mostly, I would think that, the HOA they would have that master list because they send us neighborhood-wide emails on a regular basis. So if we could work with them and reopen that survey for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Let's see, when is July 7th? Today is what's today? Today's the 16th, so that's almost 3 weeks. If we give them a couple more weeks to address that survey, I would be in favor of tabling this ordinance to them. With the note that I do plan to vote for it at that meeting.
I'd like to give some feedback.
Okay.
Sure.
You would like
to give some feedback.
Okay. All right.
I hadn't been involved in the process, so I'll just tell you where I'm kind of at seeing this. Hearing a lot of the folks that spoke tonight, I agree with them. This map to me looks like a hodgepodge. I think it would be a nightmare to try to enforce it and I would not be in favor of voting in favor of what's presented before us tonight. I think this needs to be an all or none. The only caveat I would say to that is the street to the west of the entrance, you know, that could be different, but to me, everything east of the entrance to the school needs to be all or none. If I had to vote tonight, I'd vote to do the ordinance throughout the whole area. That's where I'm at. I do not think we need to do it piecemeal. It does not make sense to me.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Smith.
I have just a couple quick questions. You made reference, Assistant Manager Matthews, to Holly Springs. I think it was a picture of their sign. Is that a 100% community that's no parking in the entire community or neighborhood or subdivision?
Yes, they had consensus across the neighborhood based on our conversation with Holly Springs staff, and it's adopted for the entirety. This is a similar footprint to North Lake, so it is all or nothing in Holly Springs. I will note that they did have consensus of the neighborhood that appears to be higher than we've seen thus far, but I guess as clarity, I'm hearing two different things, so just to get direction from the board before we leave, whether we want to do a new survey for an ordinance that applies to all of North Lakes, or to seek additional votes based on what was previously
I'm one
presented.
person, but I'm not interested in a piecemeal approach.
I do have another question, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
All right, thank you. I recognize Commissioner Smith.
My other question is, and I'm just gonna pick a street out of the air. I saw that, I think it's Street 211 on Catherine, is
That's right.
not gonna have,
It did not reach.
it did not reach the threshold, about 50%, let's say. If, we all know, sitting here, that if we pass this as it is, it's just gonna push to the areas that aren't affected. I mean, I think everybody in the room knows, we all know that. I mean, everybody's working on this knows that. But my question would be, if we passed it as it is, and a month from now, it's really piled up on, say, your street, Catherine Lake Drive, how do we communicate that back to the board or to the town that, time out, we want to change our minds now, it's worse than we thought it was going to be? How does that get communicated back? I mean, we can pass this, and I believe we got to do something. I mean, I hear what Commissioner Adcock's saying. I like for it to be the whole neighborhood myself. So I do understand we've entered into a process, give everybody a vote, and some people don't want it that way. So I do understand all of that. But we got to do something, and if you want it, I mean, I've heard several people here say, it's going to be happening on my street, let it go, because that's going to be good, that's what we wanted. But my concern is, it's going to change as the weeks and months go by, as traffic piles up here and there's no traffic over here. How do people communicate that back and get us to come back together as a board and add another street, then add another street, then add another street? That's where I'm afraid this is going to head to, that we'll be back over and over and over trying to rewrite. But I don't know how they would even communicate that to us, because we wouldn't be doing another survey. I'm just saying if we just move forward right now, that's what I would fear we would have, is a problem.
And I think that will spend more, I mean, honestly,
Commissioner
I'm sorry.
Haynes,
If we keep going back, doing what you said, well, we're gonna have to keep reordering signs. So at the end of the day, that's costing us more money to keep reordering these signs multiple times, which doesn't make sense. And also, if you go back and look at it, there's still a missing group, that 160 residents who didn't respond.
Yeah.
So that's a big number of residents who didn't respond, who probably would have voted for it, that, either, as we heard today, some didn't get it, some don't understand how to do QR codes. I mean, the only other thing I could think of, and just going old school, is going paper, or having them come to town hall and actually cast votes. That would be the only other thing, because a lot of people still don't know how to use QR codes. So I think that was an area where we missed. It's kind of like in church, some people are good at using the QR codes and everything, but people want that paper in their hand to read that program. So they see what's going on and read down the thing. So I think that's one. Then also I'm looking at is if we keep pushing it on and on, I feel like that's going to be more influx of resources from our police department. And I think that's going to be more headache on their case if we don't do all or nothing as well.
Well, and school is out, so, I mean, we won't even know, how it plays out until August. I mean, so I think we use the time trying to someone suggested that whatever was done to communicate at the end what was decided, that seemed to reach everybody. You know, so I don't know, I just think I think we need more information to, and I'd like to see it be everything, because you know, just like Commissioner Smith said, if we have it in some parts of that community and not others, it's just gonna push it around.
Mr. Mayor, I also think, you know,
Commissioner Haynes.
us pushing it, you know, I understand what Commissioner Warren's saying, but I feel like if we keep pushing it, that gives us more time to not be able to communicate it. And if we keep pushing it out, that means it's gonna take us longer to order the signs. That's gonna take us longer to communicate to schools, but if we go ahead and get it done now, we can start communicating people now. That's what, two months, a little bit, 2 months. So we should be able to get that across to the students, to the faculty, as you are gonna meet with the principal. You know, police department knows what already set on their goals, so everybody knows it from now that this is what's gonna happen, and we'll have time to do it. If we keep pushing it off, we're gonna keep rushing it, and then communication won't happen like we need it to, and it won't be effective in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other comments? What is your pleasure?
I guess town attorney, I guess was the correct motion to approve instead of doing the selective areas, doing a whole comprehensive map of the community. I don't know what the.
I think if the board is ready to decide on that this evening, the motion would be to enact the no parking, standing, or stopping ordinance for
the streets identified on April 21st.
Well, you could say that, or you could just say the streets identified in the North Lake subdivision, or you could name the streets individually if you wanted to be that more clear about it. But that is the motion that you would make if the all approach is what you wanted to decide on tonight.
Would you repeat that again, Town Manager?
The motion would be to enact the no parking, stopping, or standing ordinance for, you could either say, all of the streets in the North Lake subdivision identified at the April 21st town board meeting, because we did include a map that included all of those streets. You could say generally for all of the streets identified in the North Lake subdivision, or if you want it to be crystal clear, you could list all of the streets in the North Lake subdivision, which, if you would like, I could list those for the public record.
Commissioner Warren?
Sorry. I like Commissioner Adcock's idea of excluding Price Lake Way on the very far end of the neighborhood. So if we were to make a motion to limit parking on school days for all of North Lakes with the exception of Price Lake Way, would that be?
That is a decision of the board. When we made the original or presented the original map to you at the April 21st meeting, we included the Price Lake Way street, and I think the thinking there was if you made it for everywhere else, with there being sidewalk infrastructure along Old Honeycutt Road down to the school, essentially, that if the kids want it bad enough to avoid parking on the school campus, that would probably be the street that they would look to wiggle to as a no parking street. And we might be later coming back addressing that street at the same time as well. But it is your discretion if you want to exclude that street or not. The can kick across Old Honeycutt Road too, by the way. And so there is a subdivision, subdivision streets over there. If you knock it out of all of North Lakes, we might be coming back anyway addressing the next closest subdivision.
Commissioner Warren, I got a question since you live in the neighborhood. That the Price Lake Way, is that a way of people making, I guess, drop-offs and U-turns, or is that, maybe you have some experience of that. I just want to know.
It's much further from the high school, so to get there, down Old Honeycutt Road, I think it's like a good half a mile or 3/4 of a mile away. And so that's why I think they voted 0% in that one little section there, and just 50% in the section below.
Can I ask one more question, Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Smith, yes.
I thought I heard something, Mark, that you said, well, did you have a number for the approval rate for the entire neighborhood? Did I say 66%?
66.9%.
So 67%, 2/3 basically said they wanted the whole neighborhood shut down. I mean, no parking.
Voted in favor
Of the
no
respondents
parking.
that
Of the
that
respondents.
responded, 67% essentially said that they wanted it all.
67% said just make no parking for the whole neighborhood.
67% voted for the no parking in front of their home.
Okay. Okay, for in front of their home. That's how we couched it, to go in front of your home.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Well, maybe we just keep it simple.
Any other comments? We've had a good discussion. What is your pleasure?
I did confer with the town attorney, Mr. Mayor, that if the board did wish to enact an ordinance of no parking, stopping, or standing on all of the streets in the North Lake subdivision, it would be best to individually list those out for clarity, as we would have to make sure we captured all of those in the town ordinance.
I would like to make a motion to approve the no parking, no standing ordinance, but I would like to include all of the streets in North Lakes with the exception of Price Lake on the west side of, I believe that's the
Fuquay-Varina
Parkway. Those streets, if you want to listen, manager, I'll agree or agree.
Would you like me
So
to list them?
I'll list them. So the streets are Long Lake Drive, Nantahala Lake Way, Lake Lure Way, Jones Lake Road, Fontana Lake Drive, Beaver Dam Lake Drive, Catfish Lake Drive, Long Townsend Avenue, Pungo Lake Drive, Catherine Lake Court.
So my motion to approve the North Lake subdivision no parking, stopping, or standing ordinance, Part 7, Chapter 3, parking regulations, to include the streets listed by the town manager, is on the table.
I got it. And I got Nantahala Lake Way, Mark, but just for clarity's sake, Mr. Mayor and Commissioner Adcock had made the motion. Jones Lake Road does enter into the South Lake subdivision, so I think we need to identify a terminus point of Jones Lake Road. That terminus point being
The point roughly 100 feet south of the roundabout that would be the beginning of the South Lakes Dam.
Is that your recommendation?
that would be the recommendation, yes,
I'll
sir.
incorporate that in my motion.
Okay, can we restate the motion for clarity for the board?
So the motion that I believe that Commissioner Adcock made was to enact a no parking, stopping, and standing ordinance for the North Lakes subdivision to include the roads of Long Lake Drive, Jones Lake Road to a terminus point of 100 feet, approximately 100 feet beyond the roundabout closest to Long Lake Drive. Nantahala Lake Way, Lake Lure Way, Fontana Lake Drive, Beaver Dam Lake Drive, Catfish Lake Drive, Long Townsend Avenue, Pungo Lake Drive, Catherine Lake Court. I mentioned Long Lake Drive, but I'm going to say it again. And to exclude Price Lake Way to the west of the identified right-of-way for Fuquay-Varina Parkway.
No, that's too far.
And to continue down Jones Lake from the roundabout for 100 feet.
I mentioned that, yes, sir.
Oh, I missed it.
Yep.
You did a good job. Thank you.
Tried my best, thank you.
If we're clear on the motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. And now we're up for discussion. Assistant Town Manager Matthews.
I just wanted to make one technical clarification on the motion or request. Nantahala Lake Way has a portion that is west of Fuquay-Varina Parkway is the intent for that to be the portion of Nantahala Lakeway east of Fuquay-Varina Parkway?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? If not, the motion passes. Town Manager, Assistant Town Manager Matthews, thank you for your work on that. That was very.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
One more thing, I guess.
Hold on just a second.
Well, no, everything's fine. I'm fine with the vote.
Oh, well, let me
Just-
finish,
sorry.
my comments. Thank you very much for your hard work. I know it took a lot of time and thought, and I appreciate the opportunity to meet with the residents there. I think that was excellent idea, so thank you very, very much. Commissioner Haynes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I guess looking forward after this, as town manager spoke, I see, and I know some residents here are actually in the South Lake subdivision. So I guess in the long term, making sure that we're paying attention to that as well, to see whether it needs to be adjusted after a certain amount of time, since we focused on this area, but if we're literally just pushing the South Lake, so I don't want South Lake to feel like we're not paying attention to what's going on there, because they might push it across the street. So just, down the line, as we continue to look at everything, make sure we're watching the progress and see what's going on in South Lake, to see whether we need to come back to the drawing board and do some more areas.
That's a good point. Thank you so much for your comments.
Mr. Mayor, and I'd also just add that section across Old Honeycutt Road, because now I see that, students may see that this area of North Lakes is, prohibited from parking, but they might just go across the street there, which is, somewhat close to Willow Springs High School. So we'll have to pay attention to that as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I would just add that if that did occur, that could also create some additional traffic challenges for South Lakes Elementary School, which is something else. I do think, Mayor, you and I and representatives from the police department management will have an opportunity to impress upon the school system representatives how important it is for them to recognize the challenge that this creates for our community and why their partnership in helping to solve these challenges is more important than ever now. There hasn't been a great deal of response from the school system or the school itself in that regard, and so I think this will be an opportunity for us to further impress upon them the need for them to put some measures in place as well.
Thank you. I fully concur. I think that's so important. Yes.
When the signs go up, Mr. Mayor, go out there and make a video and let people know don't park out here.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Thanks. All right. Now we'll move to item other business, the manager's report, item 11A. Thank you all so much for coming, and thank you for your participation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We heard you.
Okay, item 11A, the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items to report to the board this evening. Town management is pleased to announce the hiring of Kelly Gordon as the town's next Economic Development Director. Ms. Gordon brings more than 20 years of experience in business development, economic programming, grant acquisition, downtown revitalization, and strategic planning across the Ohio River Valley region, and her start date will be on July 13th. So we're excited about having Kelly come on board and be a part of our team. The town will interview 7 qualified candidates for the Downtown Development Manager position. The town intends to fill this position within the next couple of months. Additionally, the North Carolina Department of Commerce announced today that downtown Fuquay-Varina is one of 49 communities statewide to receive the Main Street America accreditation status for 2026. The North Carolina Main Street and Rural Planning Center partners with Main Street America to identify local programs that meet its rigorous performance standards. These standards provide the Main Street America network with a strong foundation for reviewing progress, recognizing strengths, understanding trends, and identifying strategies to move Main Street programs forward. And we want to congratulate also our partners with the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Revitalization Association for their great work and partnership in helping the town and our downtown to achieve this recognition. This is big. 49 communities statewide. We're one of those 49. Annabelle Laval passed his Level 2 state building exam, and Chris Thompson passed his Level 3 state electrical exam in our inspections department. So we want to congratulate both of those gentlemen on their great work to further their professional development and add value to our organization. The bid opening for the Wilburn Road 1 million gallon elevated water storage tank is set to open at 2 p.m. on Thursday, June 18th. So we'll look forward to seeing the results of those bids. A couple of updates on some transportation projects. HL 27, the Sunset Lake Road Phase 2 project. All right-of-way acquisitions are expected to be complete by the end of this month. Citizens should expect to see Duke Energy relocating power lines along Sunset Lake Road in the months of July and August. BL 22, the Downtown Varina Pedestrian Improvements Project, installation of curb and gutter, storm drainage, and sidewalks is ongoing. This project is nearing completion and should be finished before the start of the next school year. BL 92, the Austin Ridge Greenway Trail, boardwalk construction is underway. All piles have been installed. Paving of the trail will commence shortly after all work on the boardwalk is finished. The Greenway Trail is nearing completion and should be finished in approximately the next 30 days, weather permitting. Old Honeycutt Highway 55 intersection operational improvements. All right-of-way has been acquired. Final NCDOT plans have been submitted for review. Duke Energy is expected to relocate power lines next month, and construction is anticipated to begin in August or September of this year. And the Bass Lake, Sunset Lake, Hilltop Needmore operational improvements. We're almost all right-of-way has been acquired. The plans are 100% approved, and Duke Energy should be relocating power lines in the August-September timeframe of this year. Construction is anticipated to begin in November of this year. So quite a few large and substantial transportation improvement projects should be breaking ground in the very near future, next few months. MicroLink has consistently performed averaging between 90 and 100 completed rides daily. Planning is also excited to be halfway through the Planning Citizens Academy with 25 great applicants to that program. The police department recently announced 2 promotions. Kevin Bissett has been promoted to sergeant and Philip Wallinger to lieutenant. We look forward to the positive impact that they will have in their new roles. The police department is, and Wallinger's here with us right here tonight. Congratulations. The police department is now accepting school supplies for the annual school supply and backpack giveaway. Donations can be made at the Fuquay-Varina Police Department and the Fuquay-Varina Fire Stations, Town Hall, Hilltop Needmore Community Center, and the South Park Community Center. School supplies and backpacks will be distributed on August 21st during the annual National Night Out event, which will be held this year in the Target parking lot. As it pertains to our fire department, Stephen Butts, Nicholas Holman, Joseph Redding, and Caleb Thompson have met all requirements and have been promoted from firefighter 2 to senior firefighter. So we want to congratulate those gentlemen on their career advancements. Robert Rosario and Tyler Cruz have accepted job offers and will join the fire department as senior firefighters. Their first day will be Monday, June 29th, and we plan to introduce them and pin their badges at the August Board of Commissioners meeting. And Firefighter 2 Riley Prince received the North Carolina State and National Southeastern Region American Legion Firefighter of the Year Awards for the year 2025 at a ceremony on June 12th, Friday, June 12th. He was accompanied by Division Chief Justin Rivestall, Battalion Chief Dustin Grimes, and several officers from the Fuquay-Varina American Legion Post 116 during the presentation. We are incredibly proud of Firefighter 2 Prince and his crew for winning these awards and for their outstanding work that they do every day. The Arts Center is currently busy with summer camps and classes for youth and adults, while preparations for the fall theater season are also underway. Audition information for the Community Theater's production of 1776 is available at fuquay-varinaarts.org. And on Saturday, June 20th, the Arts Center will host Freedom Fun Day. This event will kick off with a fun run from Library Park at 7:30 a.m., followed by outdoor activities at the Arts Center from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Unfortunately, the Manifest Juneteenth event scheduled for June 19th is being rescheduled or being evaluated for rescheduling by the event organizers. Additionally, the town resident registration for youth sports began on June 1st, and regular registration for fall youth sports is open to both residents and non-residents, and that began on June 15th. Registration will close at 5 p.m. on June 20th. Registration numbers are very strong, and interested individuals are encouraged to register as early as possible, as capacity is limited. The department is working with Parks and Rec. The IT department is working with the Parks and Rec department on the implementation of the Rec Track software. This is the new intake software for registrations for sports and recreation programming. It was successfully rolled out, and it is performing well. And our IT GIS department has completely reworked the downtown kiosks, making them more user-friendly and easier to update, and we will be deploying them in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to have new functioning and information available kiosk in our downtown, which we're excited about. The new part is the software that's operating on it. Our Human Resources Department staff recently completed a successful open enrollment for employee benefits, which concluded last Friday. And the town currently has 8 job openings organization-wide, and we've had over 3,700 views in the past week since posting those 8 positions. Since our last town board meeting, we had a fantastic employee spring picnic. Our employees are both grateful and appreciative to the town for recognizing the great work that they do day in and day out to provide fantastic service to the community. FVDA had a very successful First Friday event that featured a band and line dancing on June 5th, well attended. The Chamber of Commerce hosted a hugely successful Run the Quay road race event with over 1,500 participants. Numerous development meetings have occurred since our last town board meeting. The Wake County Southern Regional Center celebrated their 30th anniversary. We want to congratulate Richie Hayner with Wake County and his staff for a well-attended celebration. Our own Commissioner Haynes was a highlighted feature as a keynote speaker for that event, which was special. I attended the Wake County bi-monthly managers meeting since our last town board meeting, where topics included the Triangle Bike Trail project, an update on the Wake County Hospitality Tax Program, and an update on Wake County property tax collection. There have been 2 fantastic Fuquay-Varina High School graduations since our last board meeting. Mayor Harris may have more to say on that. And we want to recognize Public Utilities Director Mike Wagner and Police Accreditation Specialist Marilyn Wagner on their daughter's high school graduation from Fuquay-Varina High School. Braylon Wagner will be attending St. Mary's College in Notre Dame, Indiana next year. So we want to congratulate Mike and Marilyn on their daughter's graduation. A few items on the agenda. Again, the Manifest Fuquay-Varina Juneteenth celebration is being evaluated for rescheduling by the event organizers. However, the Manifest Fuquay-Varina Freedom Fun Day will occur on Saturday, June 20th, 7:30 to 4:30 p.m. Coffee with a Cop will be at Chick-fil-A on Wednesday, July 1st at 9 a.m. The Independence Day celebration, Celebrating America 250, will be at South Park Wednesday, July 1st. Gates will open at 6 p.m. The July Town Board meeting is Tuesday, July 7th at 7 p.m. Only one meeting in the month of July, so no meeting on July 21st. Again, we'll have our annual ice cream social on Sunday, July 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Fuquay Mineral Spring Park. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that concludes my comments for this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions that you or the town board may have.
Mr. Manager,
Yes, sir.
can someone update the board on what is going on behind the gas station in Harris Teeter?
Yes, sir. It came to our attention that the property owner, who does not live in state, decided to timber their property and clear cut their property. There is no development proposal that has been submitted to the town for that site. And we have verified with our legal counsel, our town attorney, that a property owner has the right to timber their property. If they are going to develop their site, they would have to comply with town ordinances as it pertains to retention of buffers and heritage trees. But if there is no development proposal submitted, they are entitled to timber their property, and there is
So
a
what if they
waiting
submit
period.
a
There is a
proposal?
waiting period that they would have to wait before
Okay.
they could submit a development proposal. They can't just circumvent the process.
What is it?
I'll have to get back to you on the exact amount of time.
Up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years.
Is that the town of Fuquay? Is that town of Fuquay ordinance?
That's Fuquay ordinance.
That's correct.
There are some perimeter buffers that we're looking at with staff to see if any of that's been violated. We'll see if we have any kind of remedies on that as well.
That is not something that the town, that the property owner brought to the town's attention of their intent before they removed the trees. We were made aware of it about the same time the public was, when we became noticeable of the trees coming down.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments? Now we'll move to the comment section. We'll start with Commissioner Haynes. Any comments today?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. It's been busy. I definitely, always enjoy the employee picnic. It's just a fun time. Everybody had a good time. They did a air guitar contest, which is very interesting and fun. It's something to tell them thank you for, the hard work they do, especially in the blistering heat we've had recently, and for them to, be out there night and day, on call 24/7, and all the work they do, just to tell them thank you. It's still not enough. So, but I enjoy that event every year. Also, Run the Quay was a amazing event. I don't know how the runners and the winners do what they do, where they can run a 10K, then come around and run a 5K and win both of them. It's just amazing to me. But just to see the amount of people, I actually recorded the start time when everybody took off for the 5K, and it took 4 minutes for everybody to get through the chute. That's how many people it took to get through that chute. So that was amazing. Me and Commissioner Adcock, he was passing out the medals, and I was passing out the awards for top, and they give awards for the top in each age group, as well as top runners. That was an amazing day. Definitely all the organizers from the chamber, as well as the CERT team who was out there, to the police department, to the fire department, and all the other organizations and businesses who were out there, was just amazing. We've had 2 great graduations, as a town manager said. I was able to attend both of them, as you see. One was today, and you see I'm rocking my Bingo Pride bow tie today. So that was amazing. It's always a good time because you're able to sit down. You have representatives from the county, the state, and school board, where you can have conversations about, the needs of Fuquay-Varina while we're there. So that's always a good time. So we had our representative parade, and Wake County commissioners and school board members, where we were able to have some conversation about the needs of Fuquay-Varina while we're waiting for the graduation to start. So that's always a good thing. And just to see the amazing people, seeing people graduate, their kids graduate, is always amazing. The Southern Regional Center, I was honored to be able to speak for the awards for the anniversary. It's just amazing that 30 years ago, Wake County took a chance on Fuquay-Varina to open up the first regional center. And they used that as a model for all over the county as more regional centers are opened up. And it's just amazing because most people don't realize how many resources come out of that building to help people. I tell people all the time, I'm thankful being in the funeral home industry that I don't have to drive downtown Raleigh, get death certificates anymore, I can go right over to Fuquay and get my death certificate. And if you know, trying to get downtown Raleigh in the middle of the day to get one piece of paper signed and have to find parking and everything is a lot. So just the amount of resources they have there. Also, last thing, since summer, kids are out of school, I do want to say that Pine Acres Community Center will be doing free summer feeding all summer starting June 22nd, actually my birthday, next Monday, kicking off, and we'll be feeding every Monday through Friday from 12:30 to 1:30. And then the growers market will be feeding breakfast for kids, free breakfast for kids every Saturday during the growers market. So we want to make sure these kids eat. A lot of times these kids, once they leave school, don't eat until they get back to school. So we want to make sure they eat. So please spread the word and let them know that they have resources to be able to get there. If you got to bring them over there and get them fed, get them back home. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Next, Commissioner Adcock.
Yeah, I wanted to wish my parents a very happy anniversary. They were married on this day, June 16th, 70 years ago.
Wow.
They were married at what is today the Fuquay-Varina Presbyterian Church. 70 years ago, it was Varina Presbyterian Church. I didn't know that for a long time, but the mailing address and what was considered Varina went to the Presbyterian Church. They've slowed down a little bit, but they're still doing pretty amazing. So I wanted to mention that because I'm proud of them.
Congratulations to them. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I thought I would talk a little bit about Hilltop Needmore Park. I just leave a big pause after I say that. My wife has told me to shut up on Facebook, so I'll give some thoughts here. You know, I think that it's pretty obvious that good people can come down on different sides of what they see for the vision and the future of Hilltop Needmore Park. So I'm not here to tell you that my vision is right and somebody else's is wrong, but I will give you my perspective on it because we all have unique perspectives. I grew up just north of where Ballantyne subdivision is, right off Sunset Lake Road. When I was a kid, it was still the dairy. And I didn't have to walk far south to be in that dairy. And it was a beautiful place. But if I kept walking south, I would get to Terrible Creek. And for those that don't know, Terrible Creek, if you think about Judd Parkway where Bengal Town is, it goes all the way almost to Judd Parkway. And if you get on it and walk down it, it goes under Sunset Lake Road, and it goes to Johnson's Pond, and it goes on out to 401 if you think about kind of where John Heaster Chevrolet is. But when I was a kid, I would walk up and down that creek, and it's a beautiful area, especially on the south side, because for those that have been to the American Legion, you think about looking out the back over Johnson's Pond. A lot of that south side of the creek is sloped, and it's just a beautiful, really a beautiful area. And this board has talked in the past about a dream, and it's one that I share, and that's getting a greenway down Terrible Creek. I would love for somebody to be on Judd Parkway, to be able to hop on a greenway and run down Terrible Creek, go by Johnson's Pond, and go all the way out to 401. But I think And I can tell you, since the inception of the Hilltop Needmore Park idea, one of the selling points was that in the future, there was a possibility of having a tie-in into that greenway. And I hope that it's not too far in the future that we can get there. When I was doing that, I was really a kid, elementary school. When I was in high school and could drive, I have memories of driving over to Hilltop Needmore Road, and about where High Grove subdivision is today, there was a long dirt farm road, and I would take that road all the way to the end, and it was woods. If you get out and walk through those woods, you run into Middle Creek. And to me then, and frankly still today, it's prettier than Terrible Creek. There are parts of the Middle Creek where you think you are in the mountains. It is really hard to believe you're in Fuquay when you're walking up and down Middle Creek there. And Middle Creek runs from, at least that section, it runs from Sunset Lake, it runs down and goes right behind the north side of Hilltop Needmore Park. And it runs on out to about where Banks Elementary School is and keeps going. So on that land, you know, the town, we own obviously the 140 some acres. About 10 acres of that is on Middle Creek. It hadn't been touched by any trails or anything like that, but it's beautiful down there, and it's the most environmentally sensitive area that I'm aware of in that park. The Triangle Greenways Council owns a lot of land against Middle Creek. I think that was a donation from the folks that developed the neighborhood back in the day. And the Land Conservancy owns land along Middle Creek. And I think, again, we should have a goal for one day having a greenway up and down Middle Creek. If we can interconnect our town and our parks, I think that's what the citizens want, and I think that's what the board wants. Just a good example of that is what we talked about, mentioned tonight, Austin Ridge, which is the greenway that will tie us into Bass Lake in the Holly Springs Greenway Trail. So those are kind of my thoughts about those two creeks. And if you think about it, Hilltop Needmore Road, back when, before cars, a lot of these roads were just put out paths that the horse-drawn carts made a lot of times. And if you look at a lot of these roads, they're at the high point. They were smart enough not to put the road through the swamps. It was at the high point. And if you look at Hilltop Needmore Road, especially where the park is, Hilltop Needmore Road is at the high point between Terrible Creek and Middle Creek. It is the highest point between them, and when I look at it, it makes sense that that's where they put the road. When I look at, when we do things and we approve development, it can be difficult, but I try to look to what's the future, what's the plan, and I try to make decisions based on what the future is going to be instead of today, because I don't want in 20 years or 30 years somebody to look back and say they made a bad decision. When I look at Hilltop Needmore Road and I look at the plan for it, the future is a 4-lane median divided road. It is going to be a major thoroughfare. when I look at the land on the south side of Hilltop Needmore Road, which is where the park is, the town has built a 118,000 square foot community center. That community center has Parks and Rec staff in it. It's got offices in it, and they're there to obviously maintain that community center, but they're on site to manage the whole park. It's not thrown out at some faraway spot where they've got to go out and drive and check. It's there. We've got staff on site. The entrance to that community center and to the entrance to the north side, there's a stoplight. So we've got land on a road that is, the future will be 4-lane median divided. It has a 118,000 square foot community center on the south side. There is a stoplight entering both sides. And my understanding is when the town took the land, the intention was to have active recreation along Hilltop Needmore Road. So I think people can ask questions, and people can have preferences. But I do think that the direction that the board is going with Hilltop Needmore Road, or Hilltop Needmore Park, makes sense. I believe that. What I want to see is I want to see this to be a destination park. I want it to be a park that you can get to from Greenways on Terrible Creek, from Greenways on Middle Creek, and then I want it to be a destination. And the majority of it, I want it to be trails like they are there today, but I also want there to be active recreation, and I want this town to continue to invest in it. So those are my thoughts on Hilltop Needmore Park, and I know that there are a lot of people that have different thoughts, but I'm very secure in what the board has committed to, and I do not plan on changing direction. That's it.
Thank you very much for those comments. Appreciate the feedback. Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
My comments be very brief tonight, Mr. Mayor. I too, like Commissioner Haynes mentioned, want to mention the employee spring picnic. When you and I were standing up on the stage there at the beginning of it, Mr. Mayor, I looked out across the room and remembered, it seemed like yesterday, but it was 21 years ago, when I became a town employee back in 2005, we would actually pull the curtain down and just take up part of the room for the employee picnic. Now, of course, the entire room has got tables, but I just want to say this in the presence of some of our town employees, our department directors who are here tonight. The sense of pride I had standing up there on that stage, knowing that I at one time was an employee. I enjoy being a commissioner. I'm proud to be a commissioner and representing these folks. But the fact that I was one of them, one of the employees at one time, and I looked at the talented staff we have from so many departments, doing things that I have no idea how to do, but they do it well every day. I do know how to do the police job. I did that for quite some time, but it's changed a lot too, Chief Smith. I mean, it's different technologies, and so I have pride in our police department. Obviously, I have pride in our fire department, but I look across and I'll start listing departments, I'll leave one out, so I'll stop there. But we've got talented people at so many levels, and I was proud to be there as commissioner, proud I got a chance to serve the food and all. I thought that was nice. But my sense of pride came is that I felt like these are my people. I worked with them at one time in my life, and I'm just very proud of our employees and proud that I was given the opportunity at one time to be part of that. And I just want to say again to our employees, I'm glad we were there, glad we enjoyed the picnic, but I am just so proud of our employees from every level in our agency, across the board, what they do every day for this town. They're amazing people with amazing talents, and I'm just proud that I used to get say I was one of them. So thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. That's all I've got.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Varyn.
Sure, I'll be brief as well. Unfortunately, I've had to miss a lot of the great events that have been going on. I have a toddler and a newborn at home, so
Okay.
we're looking on to try and balance that with some of the great events that I would like to be able to make in the future. So with that, I'll take the easy comment here, and I want to just reiterate the congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes on their victory at their Stanley Cup, bringing that back to North Carolina. That's something, and thankfully it was on ABC, so I was able to watch that. Didn't have to go anywhere, just stay at home and take care of the toddler and the newborn while they were going ahead and bringing that cup home. So, congrats again. We look forward to next year and doing the same over.
It was an amazing run. It was amazing. It really was amazing. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Well, I'm really grateful that well, number one, I want to thank the staff and everybody who worked on this parking thing. I don't know when we got to a point where the subdivisions are expected to take care of things like that, because it just doesn't even compute with me that should be a function of the subdivision that's next to the school. But anyway, I feel good about what we're doing, and I'll be anxious to see if it moves on to another subdivision now. But maybe Wake County will realize that they have a responsibility here too, and it's not up to the residents of Fuquay-Varina to take care of everybody's problem. Yeah. So I'm just glad we've come up with something that's going to work for that neighborhood. I'm sure it's been a hardship this year. So thank you to everybody who worked on that. And I'm really proud of all of our graduates, and just looking forward to what they do with their lives when they go out of Fuquay-Varina here, and I hope some of them are going to end up back here sometime. And I am really excited about the Economic Development Director that we have coming in July. I did have the pleasure of meeting her, and I was quite impressed, and she is excited about moving her family here. She spent a lot of time just walking around our town while she was here, and everybody, they've got one child that's going off to college, but everybody's on board, with this thing. So this decision for her career, and I'm excited about the opportunities there, and excited about opportunities also for we had a robust number of people applying for the Main Street Director. Mm-hmm. And I think that bodes well for our community, and I think that our staff that we have there has been doing a great job moving forward, and getting that accreditation is a big deal. And they, the director was gone, and they moved right along with that. So I'm really proud of all the things that are going on in Fuquay-Varina right now. Maybe we can slow down a little bit this summer. I hope so, anyway.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I say, go Canes. I have a Brenda Moore captain's jersey from 2006.
Oh, my.
And I got it out and almost wore it, but I was afraid I would mess up my superstition was too great. I thought I hadn't had it on the whole time, so I'm not going to put it on now. But it was, I gave it to my husband, so it looks like a dress on me anyway. But go Canes. Thank you.
Good. Well, I had a busy month amid the ribbon cuttings and the graduations, and I met with the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association, and I guess the most exciting was kicking off the run with the Quay. But another significant thing that occurred this past month is that I met with the management at John Deere and John Deere Corporation, which has been a very important corporate citizen here in Fuquay-Varina, who wants to continue that relationship. They have new management, but they're excited about further collaborating with the town and want to make sure that I understand that they are interested in being a strong corporate partner. And they do have internships. They're willing to entertain internships if we have citizens who are interested in internships. I thought that was very, very important. The other thing was there was an article, should have been published, from the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council. We did make a presentation. We had a tent at the mental health event for the police department, and I think we will have one this week at Manifest and the Mayor's Health Council. We've met a few times. We have a very interesting council. We have a representative from Wake Med, Andy Curtis, and we have Dr. Priyanka, and we have Dr. Dawn Johannes, and we're all trying to make sure that this comes from the mayor's office, the priority of holistic health. That's mental health, physical health, emotional health. So we're constantly trying to come up with ideas in regards to how we can promote the importance of health from the standpoint of the town. So that was very important as well. And I did attend the Southern Regional Center's anniversary. Commissioner Haynes did an outstanding job with his presentation. He really hit on very, very, very powerful speech, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for all of your comments tonight. I really appreciate it. I think we had an excellent meeting. And Mr. Town Manager, is there a recommended closed session for this evening's meeting?
There is, but, Mr. Mayor and Board, before we do that, I do need to, unfortunately, circle back to the North Lakes parking matter. And Scott, if you'll pull this up on the screen. As I
Okay.
was listing the roads, it was brought to my attention that that section of Fuquay-Varina Parkway between Old Honeycutt Road and Nantahala Lake Way is an access point, and I think it could very well become a parking lot. And so my recommendation would be the town board by motion include the section of Fuquay-Varina Parkway between Old Honeycutt and Nantahala Lake Way into the no parking, no stopping, no standing ordinance.
So we would need a motion
I think you
to
should,
go
just to
back
be-
to include that specifically
It will be a motion to reconsider that former action.
and do an amendment to the motion.
Right. Well, let me just ask a question. My main concern is, people dealing with folks in front of their house. What are the concerns with people parking on?
I think if there is no parking on, certainly, and it applied to both sides of the roads, I think it could present a challenge for public safety in and out of the neighborhood and for EMS vehicles, fire and EMS. I think that is a logical point off Old Honeycutt Road that could become a parking lot. And I think if we're not clear about that, that could present a problem.
Manager, I'll add that when South Lakes Elementary School lets out, a lot of parents will park there and walk to South Lakes along there, and it does get pretty congested during those times. So if high school students are parked there, I think.
So you think that adding this street makes sense?
I think so, yes.
Well, I mean, how about that Price Lakeway?
Well, the board agreed that as a part of the motion, y'all were gonna leave that one out. It's on the west side of Fuquay-Varina Parkway, and I think that given the fact that that is a bit separated, it could, it could potentially not be affected, but you may have to come back to that and visit that at some
I
point.
don't live over here and I don't know the area, but what I don't wanna do is if Fuquay-Varina Parkway, you may not want them parking there, but it might be better than them going across the street and parking in the neighborhood in front of houses. So I'm just.
And that is true. I mean, I think we're gonna continue to have a challenge with it, and so, I think the board has two options. I just didn't wanna get past tonight and not bring it to your attention. If you wanna not include it and see what happens and come back and revisit it later, we can. If you want to include it because of what I think is likely to happen, then that's your purview as well. I just did not want to get past this meeting and not bring that to your attention.
So,
Mr. Mayor, I do have a comment. I do think that if we make Fuquay-Varina Parkway along that section the manager mentioned, having signage there would probably end up being a deterrent for anyone to go down that road and end up turning into Price Lake Way as well. If you turn in there and see that little bit of Fuquay-Varina Parkway that's paved and able to be driven on, they might not go down to Price Lake Way. That may not ever become an issue for us at Price Lake Way. If not, if we start parking, people start parking on Fuquay-Varina Parkway, it's just a matter of a few days they'll be on Price Lake Way. So I think we should probably include it.
Okay, so first we need a motion to reconsider. Is that the pleasure of the board? We need a motion to reconsider the, and I forget the language of the initial motion. Perhaps you have it.
James, you want to state the motion?
The initial motion. Oh, you had that one.
The motion is to reconsider the initial motion from this evening. We have reference to it in the minutes,
That's
so
right.
I don't think we
Yeah,
need
it's
to read those streets
reconsider
out.
the former vote.
I make a motion that we reconsider the former vote on the no parking in the North Lake, is this North Lake?
North Lake subdivision, yes, sir.
Second.
All right. Now, we have a motion to reconsider.
Vote.
All those in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now, do we need a motion to amend the original motion?
Now we'll just make another motion
Just
that
another.
adds that amended portion to it.
I can do my best to try to read these streets again, but
All right.
I missed it the last time. Give me one. All right.
If you want to just incorporate the former motion and make the amendment to
That-
it,
I
that's
think
probably the easiest way
that
to
would
do
be
it.
the
He's-
easiest.
He's read a lot tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I was working that in the head, Charlie.
Thank you, Commissioner Hancock. Do I hear a second to the?
You, second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we reconsider the motion and do the additional information.
The additional
Yes.
section of Fuquay-Varina Parkway between Old Honeycutt Road and Nantahala Lake Way.
Yes. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That addresses your concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and my apologies for that. And then there is a recommendation to go into closed session this evening pursuant to General Statute 143, 318, 11A3, attorney-client privilege.
All right,
So
we're gonna
moved.
take a small recess, okay? All right.